ChannelOne Newsroom on ChannelOne TV. We're broadcasting live from our studio at number 5 Ola Hansen Lane at Tesano here in Accra. I am Charles Osukumi. Coming up. President Mahama indicates state of emergency on illegal mining possible if National Security Council recommends.
As at now, this moment, the National Security Council believes that we can win the fight against Galamsey without a state of emergency. The day they advised me otherwise, that boss, now we need a state of emergency, I will not hesitate in declaring a state of emergency.
Also coming up, Tegbe onion farmers in the Anloga districts of the Volta region struggle with post-harvest losses amid market gluts and foreign competition. Police probe deadly gun attack on immigration officers at Bintiri checkpoint in the northeast region. And later, Kaswa residents demand lasting solutions to perennial flooding as authorities target illegal structures.
20 got a frigotano, Ubanom Betima, no meti half, edge a half, and now damn be brains who would say, why, this got an unquine, the man shoe.
Coming up in Channel One Business. IMF confidence Ghana will maintain fiscal discipline beyond 2026 program. And in Channel One Sports. Despite recent setbacks, Mohamed Kudus tips current Black Stars to outdo 2010 team. I'm grateful for your time here on the Channel One Newsroom. Let's begin the bulletin from the Northeast region, where the Regional Police Command has launched an investigation into the deadly armed attack on 2 Ghana Immigration Service officers stationed at the Bintiri Inland Checkpoint near Nalerugo in that region. According to the police, the attack occurred around 1 a.m. when unknown gunmen opened fire on the officers at their duty post. Both officers sustained gunshot wounds in the attack. Tragically, one officer died from his injuries, while the second was rushed to the hospital and is currently receiving medical treatment. The assailants reportedly stole a motorbike and a bag belonging to the officers before fleeing the scene. However, a service rifle used by the immigration personnel was recovered by the police at the checkpoint. In a statement, the police assured the public that a full-scale manhunt is underway to bring the perpetrators to justice. Let's now focus on health, and healthcare services across the country are set for a severe disruption as the Junior Doctors Association of Ghana declares a nationwide withdrawal of services commencing next Tuesday. The decision follows unresolved disputes with governments over delayed salaries and stalled postings. Meanwhile, the Ghana Medical Association has called on the government to expedite its engagement with the leadership of the Junior Doctors Association to avert the intended strike. The association cautions that any industrial action by the junior doctors will take a toll on healthcare delivery across the country, and the government must quickly step in to avert the situation.
It's a given for you to work for close to 10 months, 11 months, 12 months without salary. It's something that nobody can defend because we were able to work to reduce the number of months that people have to work before they receive salary to 3 months. So what happened that now we are gradually going back to this 9 months, 8 months business. So clearly As Ghana Medical Association, we have actually been trying very hard to control the situation. We've had several meetings to ensure that these doctors stay calm and continue giving their services. However, the assurances that we gave them and we told them that we're going to push, at a point we realized that we can't promise any longer. So we just have to allow them to also express their disgust or anger in the way that they feel would be inure to their benefit. And I believe that we have to make sure we put in measures and ensure that these things don't happen again.
Now, onion farmers in Tegbi in the Angloga district of the Volta region say post-harvest losses remain their greatest challenge, with some tons of onions left to rot on farms due to the lack of storage and processing facilities. Oversupply on local markets, worsened by an influx of foreign onions, has left farmers unable to sell their produce. Despite high production costs, many are now sinking into debt. ChannelOne News' Volta regional correspondent Desmond Salasiago visited the onion farms in Tegbi and filed this report.
Agricultural experts warn that onions, like most perishable vegetables, can lose up to 40% of their value within 2 weeks if not properly stored. In Ghana, post-harvest losses for onions are estimated at between 30 to 50%, translating into thousands of tons of wasted produce and millions of cedis in lost income annually. Farmers in Tegbi, who mostly cultivate the Boku red onion variety, say the lack of ready markets and the influx of cheaper imports have oversaturated local markets. As a result, large volumes of onions rot on farms soon after harvesting.
Agleo do ha nyekpo ashi na nyafa agleman kuvia o alebeni onfon fie agleji kama toro fie sabala ya katan la aglaji nyekpo shinu.
Without cold storage or climate control warehouses, many farmers resort to makeshift and hygienic storage methods that accelerate spoilage and lower quality. Production here relies heavily on irrigation, requiring significant investment in pumping systems, fuel, and fertilizers. Farmers say these costs have risen sharply in recent years, driving up production expenses. Yet, without reliable markets or facilities to extend shelf life, they struggle to recover their investment and remain trapped in debt.
Using irrigation, you can pumping machine blame your midana. Alabamiza Jipuchi a cocoa dagblue. Nietan Pona market, you can name daglama and you for Arugayo Kamado, La Banco Dagble. Nietan Pona Shina, Aglamanco, Ikaba.
Beyond individual losses, the problem threatens local food security and discourages young people from going into farming. Farmers argue that with proper storage and processing facilities, they could cut losses, add value, extend market supply, and compete more effectively against imports.
Yamakwe adenyeje wo di te fara na mi aba factory arumia plus bono na ma mi astoedi plus bono gbeta to varu foru na va otutu nwa kemi hani je mi ato dadra.
Anglogan District Chief Executive Sandra Seyampedor acknowledged the challenge. She said while temporary measures have been introduced, the construction of a modern storage facility and processing plant is crucial for a lasting solution.
Initially, the district wrote to some of the second cycle institutions that we have in the district to help buy these onions from our farmers. And we also contacted the caterers for the school feeding program. We are therefore appealing to the whole world that if we can have investors who will help us with storage facilities and, if possible, processing plants, it will help us a long way.
Onion farmers here in Tegbi in the Anglogan district of the Volta region are calling on government to construct a processing plant and a storage facility for them to be able to process and also store their product after harvesting. Reporting for ChannelOne News from Tegbi in the Anglogan district of the Volta region. My name is Desmond Salasiago.
Well, let's stay with agriculture. The Minister for the sector, Eric Opoku, has attributed recent reductions in food prices to government policies and bumper harvest. But while official data points to a decline, some traders say the reality on the ground is different. ChannelOne News' Shiba Arba Benin visited some markets and filed this report.
Food prices, according to official data, are easing across the country. The Ghana Statistical Service reports that food inflation, which stood at over 26% in March, dropped to 14.8% in August and further down to 11% in September. Overall inflation has now fallen to 9%, the lowest in more than 3 years.
If you go to the market to buy tomato, you appreciate that the price has come down. Because in terms of quantities, you see it. Some people came to my office and they were testifying to the fact that they went to the market and the quantity of tomato that they bought at that price, they've never seen it before. Even in onion, people were saying it. Plantain everywhere. I'm getting to Kumasi.
What about maize? What about maize and rice?
The price of maize has fallen so significantly to the extent that when it was 1,400 last year, now we are selling at 500, 400.
But the market women tell a more complex story.
Amo se si aye 2,200. Almost it to se ebu a Kumasi ebu tomato se ebu ko Kumasi and omo fe bi ma.
So the any boy from Baba to say 2 weeks money on once out to move. Omo mbeto no so mo ba omo se ntos na ebu. E na ye say adaka na ye di shema ye no so omo atwa won ma ye ne kituwa nti wo yinua na kituwa bi na wo.
For onion sellers, the issue is quality. They avoid locally grown onions because they spoil quickly, opting instead for imported ones whose prices remain unchanged.
4 million 35. Nti ukofa na lolly di baha, beba do na 4 million. Ukofa ni 4 million lolly di baha, beba 4.5. Ni bottle na eno ani. Die ni ye drabi wa ha. Eno ye friend na shiama mboko.
Evelyn is another trader who sells local produce and admits her prices have dropped, crediting government support.
I feel the price in a year. Because last year by this time you to 3,002. By this year you turn 1,005, 1,008. Ebi wo hokra wunya 1,000. Inti cha say esan say aba fom na omo adua ne bebre ninti ebi wo ho.
Interestingly, most traders interviewed said they had not observed the so-called glut in food items despite official claims of abundance.
E won mo pass tomatoes wo Kumasi a ya te so anka biadi fo no mo kodwa wo the Burkina ni techima na ade no nko makofa bia ba ha nti no ne omo kan de ye de ehu bia ye tontoso no ye hu bi sa
say the Ashanti region those bia say ye de na down any volta.
Maize is a staple in most households, and this is one of the commodities that has recorded the sharpest price fall.
I counted to 14 million. Now when your name says Abafem, says I ton 900. It's a brony di Abafem pa. Ya pasa buying on some mound drano bebre. Not pricing and Bafem, which is a brony diono no Ghana.
By this year, this is the first time we have experienced a reduction in prices of rice, especially the imported one, not the local one.
The prices of food items on the market may only be on the rise due to the fact that some traders have a taste for imported goods. However, for those who prefer the locally grown products, their items are on the low. They are therefore calling on the government to introduce more interventions to ensure reduction in the prices. Reporting for Channel One News, I am Sheba Arba Benin.
Now, away from the agric sector, residents in flood-prone communities of the Ewutu-Senya East municipality in the central region are calling for more sustainable interventions to address perennial flooding beyond the routine dredging of the Okurudu River. They argue that dredging offers only temporary relief and fails to tackle the root causes of the problem. Authorities, however, say they have identified over 400 illegal structures obstructing water flow and will soon demolish them. Correspondent Akwesiado has more.
Communities along the Okurudu River, including Opekuma, Kaimebre, Adankope, Pomete, Dokuchekope, and Newtown, are hit hard whenever there's a heavy downpour, often facing destruction of property, loss of lives, and disruption of livelihoods.
Got a forgotten. Ubanom betima, no meti half, edge half. And now damn baby, so with Sewa, SCC got an unquine, the man shoe. High. And see, here's a matinee block on my bedroom. I got Ankasaka say, a friend says, Second, Maya,
While residents blame siltation of the river, they also acknowledge that human activities such as indiscriminate waste disposal and building on waterways have worsened the situation. They want authorities to enforce stricter measures. The municipal assembly is currently dredging the Okrudu River to ease flooding, but residents insist this provides only short-term relief and are demanding permanent solutions, such as the construction of a proper storm drain.
Na haya na wose mbetu bolegu utu bolegu wo so ne yakoka obeka che asase no enya wo dia obetimi ye nsuo wo ye nsuo gu bucket mu wo ye nsuo gu bucket no de bola egum wo janai wo bolan ko kase ya obetwa da obekasa obeka nsema ensese oka.
They also warn that continuous dredging has already widened the river's course, damaging properties that were previously safe, and fear that further dredging could cause even greater harm in the future. Municipal Chief Executive Seth Sabasewonu Banini admits dredging is only a temporary option, but says the Assembly has little choice at the moment. He assured that efforts are being made to secure funding for a storm drain project to provide a lasting solution.
We have plans to make sure that we look for lasting solutions to this. I have to be very honest and frank with you. It is costly. It's going to cost us some good fortune to be able to do that. As we manage the situation with this dredging work, we are also in talks with authorities to help us find solutions to it while we seek for good funding for it. Mostly we have donor partners that take keen interest.
Meanwhile, the municipal NADMO director, Nash Nyande, disclosed to ChannelOne News that more than 400 structures blocking water channels have been identified, and decisive steps, including demolitions, will soon be taken.
We are not doing it at the Rambo style. We need to educate them and give them reasons, because you just go once the person is not prepared to move out to a different place or to a satisfaction place. We need to educate them and also give them some time to evacuate from the place.
About 400 buildings situated along the banks of the Okrudu River have been identified as a contributing factor to the flooding situation here in Kasua. Authorities say they will soon take action to protect lives and property. For the ChannelOne Newsroom, I am Akwesi Ado, Kasua Central Region.
We now straight focus to illegal mining, where President John Dramani Mahama says he will not hesitate to declare state of emergency in areas affected by the menace commonly known as Galamsey if Ghana's National Security Council advises that it is necessary. Now, speaking during a stakeholder engagement on illegal mining in Accra, the president stated that although he holds the constitutional power to declare state of emergency, such action must be based on the advice from the National Security Council, which at present believes the battle against Galamsey can be won through existing legal and security frameworks. ChannelOne News' presidential correspondent Akwesi Otre has more.
After mounting pressure on government to act decisively on illegal mining, government met with the CSOs to seek frantic opinions on government's fight so far and the way forward. Sector Minister Amabua took the opportunity to give a breakdown on government's measures so far.
The crisis we face. We began with stakeholder education and engagement, because ultimately this fight will not be won by guns. It will be won by the heart and soul of every Ghanaian. And we began by revoking those licenses that were given within that transitional period. And then embark on an aggressive process to review the large scale, small scale. We just finished earlier the small scale mining review.
The government then revealed that it is set to revoke the controversial LI 2462, which has been the subject of widespread public debate.
The minister and I have agreed that on the 14th of October, when Parliament resumes, we'll lay that instrument to revoke the famous LI 2462, which is the infamous LI 2462, so that there will be no basis whatsoever for anybody to tamper with, with our forests.
Meanwhile, the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the NPP, Chairman Wuntumi, will face prosecution over his alleged involvement in illegal mining activities.
Currently, we are waiting for him to be read his right to remain silent, etc. You know, before we've asked that he should be brought from, Kumasi. His lawyers asked that he should be brought on Tuesday, but I'm insisting that he should be here on Monday. If he doesn't come on Monday, I'm going to order for his arrest so that he'll be brought to Accra. His rights will be read to him, and then we can start the prosecution.
The president once again reiterated his commitment to the fight and declared his stance on calls for a declaration of a state of emergency.
Yes, I have the power to do it. But the president acts on the authority, not only on the authority, on the advice of the National Security Council. And as at now, this moment, the National Security Council believes that we can win the fight against Galamsey without a state of emergency. The day they advised me otherwise, that, boss, now we need a state of emergency, I will not hesitate in declaring a state of emergency.
The president also responded to questions on how much will be needed to tackle the menace.
Lessons learned were that in the next wave, with the formation of NIMOS, that we must deploy the military on a sustained basis, rather than when we make some wins, we withdraw them. But it comes with a cost, because if you send troops and station them permanently to guard the forest reserves, we must feed them, we must provide them with fuel, we must give them vehicles and all the logistics they need to be able to do that. And so that links up with Franklin's question about budget. We need a substantially bigger budget than we have currently to be able to win this war. Happily, budget hearings have started. The budget for next year is going to be presented to Parliament, and my expectation is that the Minister of Finance will give a much bigger allocation to this fight against Galamsey.
Well, let's stay with the president's engagement with civil society on this illegal mining fight, which happened at the Jubilee House today. We're joined in studio by Edward Tuto, the executive convener for Dynamic Youth Movement. Good to see you, bro.
Good to be here.
All right, you're welcome. You were in this meeting, right?
Yes, please, I was there.
Would you say that we have achieved a consensus on how to deal with this illegal mining menace following this meeting today?
I must say that most of us were disappointed when we heard that the president was inviting all stakeholders, especially CSO that have been very vocal on the matter of illegal mining. We were hopeful that the president was coming to tell us that he's finally heeded to our calls and he's about to declare a state of emergency and he was going to take our inputs as major stakeholders. But when we got there, it was more or less like a rehash of all that he has said. You know, there was this presentation by NIMOS and the National Security Apparatus, and they left out a very important detail.
Which is?
That after declaring our forest reserves and our water bodies, red zones, security zones, in less than a week, those zones were breached. In the Bono region, Western North region, these Galamseyers had returned, invaded, and they were raping our river bodies, they were raping our forests as if nothing is at stake. Therefore, it brings into sharp focus what we have been saying, that we've seen measures under the previous regime. Operation Hot 1, Hot 2, Vanguard here and there. We've had yellow river gas, now we have blue river gas under the new administration, and nothing is working. Therefore, we were so disappointed when the president started the whole program and we felt that we were about to be told that, look, finally, we are about to declare a state of emergency.
But the president can't just go on and make arbitrary decisions. I mean, he says if he's going to declare a state of emergency, he needs to consult. He has a National Security Council to consult. The council presently does not believe that, we need a state of emergency. The measures available now can't deal with the menace. So the president is relying on the advice of the National Security Council.
And that is where we have a problem, because we have a 1992 constitution that regulates everything we do in this country, including the office of the president. Now, I'll take you to Article 31. And Article 31 talks about the emergency powers of the president. If you go to Article 31, clause 1 to 3, it outlines the stakeholders that are needed in order for a state of emergency to be declared. So when you read it, it talks about the Council of State that must give advice to the president. So it didn't mention the National Security Council. So far as a state of emergency is concerned, the National Security Council, which the president himself chairs as commander-in-chief, does not come into the equation at all.
Not at all?
No, because it is there, Article 31. If you can read it, the president acting in accordance with the advice of the Council of State.
Okay.
It doesn't bring in the National Security Council. So if it is the Council of State that the president says, I'm waiting for advice from them, that is legit because it is legal. The Constitution says it. Apart from that, the Constitution also talks about Parliament. So the clause 3 talks about Parliament. Parliament shall, within 72 hours, goes on and on. So to declare state of emergency, one, you need a president that is decisive to say that, look, where this situation has gotten to, I must declare state of emergency. Then he goes to the Council of State. There he seeks advice. And then from there you go to Parliament.
But I don't think the president was referring to the constitutional
the president
procedure.
has to test majority over there. So over there too, the president does not have any hindrance. With to test majority, he can declare a state of emergency. He can keep the others in line. So you have the president who is willing. We have a Council of State that is also abreast with the issues and they are willing. Then you have a Parliament in which the president has an overwhelming majority over there. So if you are saying that you are going to depend on the advice of your National Security Council, that is misinformation. The president is trying to hide behind his own National Security Council, which he chairs. If the commander-in-chief is chairing the National Security Council, and as commander-in-chief, you say, look, where our situation has gotten to, our people cannot get water to drink. Babies are dying. Fetuses are not even safe. Kidney diseases are on the rise. Our contumely, our banche, and all our staples are being what? Poisoned. At this stage, we are all eating and drinking poison. War has been declared on us as Ghanaians. And the president wants to just tell him again, look, where things have gotten to, we do not need to talk. We don't need any more advocacy. We have said all that needs to be said. The Catholic Bishop has said all that needs to be said. The Ghana Academy of Arts and Science has said all that needs to be said. The National Coalition Against Illegal Mining has said all that needs to be said. The media has said all that needs to be said. The youth, we've been on the streets under the regime of Nana Akufo-Addo and Your Excellency, your administration, we've been on the streets. A whole Roman Catholic Church has been on the streets. What more do you want to hear? What more do you want to see? Mr. President, please declare a state of emergency. The National Security Council does not come in any way. It is just a constitution of the major stakeholders when it comes to our security apparatus, the army, fire service, immigration, and what have you, coming together with a few cabinet ministers for us to decide. But it has not, they don't have any locus when it comes to the declaration of a state of emergency. Okay. And please, very, very important. When you go to the Article 31, the clause 9, there's something very, very important there. Now, when you go to the clause 9, it says the circumstances under which a state of emergency may be declared under this article include a natural disaster or any situation in which any action is taken or is immediately threatened to be taken by any person or body of persons, which A, is calculated or likely to deprive the community of the essentials of life. This is the Constitution, Article 31. Water is an essential of life.
So you think, I mean, the
Food,
conditions are...
No, please.
All right,
please.
go ahead.
Food is an essential of life.
All right.
The air that we breathe is an essential of life. And we are not talking about a section. We are not talking of a locality. We are talking about the whole country. Over 34 million Ghanaians are eating poisonous food, drinking poisonous water, and the Constitution says that if the basic necessities of life are threatened, it warrants the declaration of a state of emergency. So if anybody is advising the president that where we have gotten to, we can still fight this without declaration of emergency, they need to be fired because they are misleading the president. And Mr. President, anybody who is advising you not to declare state of emergency, they are misleading you, they are ill-advising you, and you need to fire them as a matter of urgency. Look, anybody who does not agree with us that we need to declare state of emergency is a traitor. It's an enemy of the state. And we must get rid of such characters such marauding hoodlums
The
as soon
security
as
couples
possible.
on the National Security Council.
Anybody that is advising the president that when we have gotten to with this illegal mining menace, a state of declaration does not need to be declared. Such characters are misleading the president, and they are traitors, they are enemies of the state, and the president must fire them as soon as possible.
Okay.
We do not need such characters to be our president because the constitution is clear.
Right.
Article 31 clause 9a, it says what? Anything or any situation or any group of people that threaten the basic necessities of life of any people, a state of emergency must be declared. Right. Therefore, if we are eating poison, we are drinking poison, we are breathing in poison, and the whole nation is at stake, the old are not spared, the youth are not spared, babies are not spared, even the fetuses, the pregnancies in the womb are not being spared.
All right.
Then what else are we waiting for?
All right. But thank you, Edward. But I don't think the president was referring to the constitutional procedure in declaring a state of emergency. He was just probably referring to his security briefings from his security couples on the council.
No, he's talking about advice.
It's fine.
And I asked the question about state of emergency, and he said he has not been advised. And I'm also saying that when you look at the Constitution, Article 31 that we have read,
the advice
the
needs to come from
the Council of State that must advise the president.
I get that. I get that.
Therefore, the advice we need right now must come from the Council of State. And some of us are even of the opinion that, look, if the president is dragging his feet to declare state of emergency, then the Council of State can come up with a resolution. They can meet, vote overwhelmingly, they can vote unanimously, and they can arrive at a resolution to compel the president to declare state of emergency.
Article 31
says that when they make the decision, they should gazette it.
Okay.
When they gazette it, the president will be compelled to go to parliament, and with overwhelming majority in parliament, a state of emergency will be declared.
Thank you very
That
much,
is our stand.
Edward Tutor, the executive convener for Dynamic Youth Movement. He was part of the civil society organizations the president invited today for that engagement on the way forward for Ghana's fight against illegal mining. This is still the Channel One Newsroom on Channel One TV. Still ahead. IMF confident Ghana will maintain fiscal discipline beyond 2026 program. Stay with us, we'll be back shortly.
This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come. Let's go! Lights, camera, action. Put your mind to it, live the life that you were.
It's on SuperSport all season long. Pay your subscription today. Dial *759#. Available on DSTV and GoTV.
This October, Ghana's altar calls once again. After 7 unforgettable years, the 8th edition of Women in Worship arrives with a divine charge. Celebrating his faithfulness, minstrels Ada Ehi, Rabna Tomi Favored, Keepers Music Ekiaserwa Bonsu, and many more will gather at Perez Dome on October 5th. Grab your tickets now. Regular 100 Ghana cedis, VIP 200 Ghana cedis plus beverage. Grab it online via Ego Tickets or www.eventpaddy.com. Short code USSD *713 *33 *30# or call Ticket Hotline 0248 810 396 or 0544 124 567. Tickets are available at Airport Shell, Hatcho Shell, Bachano Toto, Perez Dome, and more. Sponsors, media partners. Powered by Quest. Women in Worship 2025. Daughter, you still have a voice.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, mommy.
I'm the second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again?
Now I understand the whole delay. Trotro from Kaswati. Why wouldn't he be late? Obey him later.
Of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. Yeah, you go be the luckiest. Coffee from Georgia be luckiest. From Natepia, cause she be luckiest. Yeah, you go be lucky, luckiest. No matter why you're luckiest. Everybody go be the luckiest.
That's Kwamio!
Send your God the apple boom. If you put it toy, so would the coming of the son of man be. Is that his car?
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompts and let destiny handle the rest.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
Love the Premier League? Your DSTV premium subscription could get you there in real life, Charlie. Stay connected for your chance to watch the Premier League live. Man U versus Man City at Old Trafford or Arsenal versus Man U in London. Stay connected to score with DSTV Premium. This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform. Terms and conditions apply.
You're welcome back. This is the Channel One Newsroom on Channel One TV. Next is Channel One Business with Netilinete Ajaho.
Channel One Business is brought to you by MTN and EcoBank.
How may I help you today?
We'd like to open a bank account.
Sign here, sign here, sign here, and here. And now you draw direction to your house. I need your thumbprint. And I'll need your birth certificate too. No, I need the original.
A lot has changed since you banked like this. So have we. We've made it easier than ever to open an account online and bank on the go through our mobile app, online banking, and more. EcoBank, a better way to bank your way.
Sign here, and here.
EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Hello, Natalia, you're welcome.
Thank you, Charles.
How are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm well.
Yeah.
So the IMF, they're showing some confidence in us.
And I think as they're assessing Ghana's, what we've used the money and what we've done so far, they're optimistic that after the program, that's next year, everything will be on course and
we'll maintain the current fiscal discipline that we're on. Well, it looks like there's no other choice, right?
Yes, we have to. If not, it will be a loss for.
All right.
Let's go straight to the story. The International Monetary Fund has expressed confidence in Ghana's ability to sustain fiscal discipline even after the country its program in May 2026. The fund says reforms already introduced provide a strong framework for long-term stability and market confidence. At a press briefing in Washington, D.C., IMF's Director of Communications, Julie Kozak, underscored that some of these measures are designed to endure beyond the life of the program.
Ghana has made meaningful progress in laying the foundation, for fiscal discipline beyond the IMF program. Key reforms, and I'll talk about a few of them, which are lasting reforms, which we expect to last beyond the program. A few of these key reforms are a revamped fiscal responsibility framework, the establishment of an independent fiscal council, and improvements in public financial management, which aims at really improving and supporting the efficiency and effectiveness of public spending. These are all very important steps in sort of ensuring that fiscal discipline can be durable. Maybe I can just add some details that the fiscal responsibility framework includes a primary balance rule requiring an annual primary fiscal surplus of at least 1.5% of GDP, and it also includes a public debt target at 45% of GDP.
Now, vehicle registrations surged in 29% in the first 5 months of this year. This comes as transport sector activity showed strong growth in the first half of the year, with new vehicle registrations rising sharply. That's according to the Bank of Ghana's July 2025 Monetary Policy Report. The data from the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority (DVLA) reveals that vehicle registrations in May 2025 jumped by 24.5% to over 20,000 units compared to the 16,000 units in the same month last year. This report has more details.
Cumulatively, registration in the first 5 months of the year hit 108,542 units, a 29.4% jump compared to the 83,878 over the same period in 2024. The growth in registration reflects improving economic sentiment, with households and businesses more confident to invest in vehicles. This may also signal easier access to auto financing, renewed fleet expansion by logistics and ride-hailing operators, and stronger demand for commercial transport services. The development comes at a time when Ghana is pushing for higher efficiency in transport and logistics as part of its economic recovery strategy. Rising registrations, while positive for mobility and trade, also present challenges such as increased fuel demand, congestion in urban centers, and the need for expanded road infrastructure. The rebound in transport activities could translate into higher revenue for government through registration fees, road user charges, and associated taxes.
Chief executive officers of the 148 rural and community banks in Ghana have threatened to sue the BOG over a directive limiting the tenure of CEOs of rural and community banks. The BOG's Corporate Governance Directive caps the tenure of CEOs of rural banks at a maximum of 12 years, that's 4 years per term, for a total of 3 terms. President of the Chief Executive Officers Group of Rural and Community Banks, Alhaji Awudu Ibrahim, speaking at the 24th CEOs Annual Conference of RCBs in Takoradi, said almost all seasoned CEOs will be phased out of the system in 6 months if the directive is not amended. Our Western Regional Correspondent, Akwesi Jenim, has more.
The 3-day 24th Annual CEOs Conference of Rural and Community Banks, underway in Takoradi, is being held under the theme Bridging the Gap, Empowering Rural Banking in a Digital Economy. Opening the conference, Managing Director of ARB Apex Bank, Alex Kwesiewa, highlighted the progress of rural and community banks.
As we speak, most of the RCBs are posted very strong results at the end of the first half of 2025. Total assets of the subsector was 21.2 billion Ghana cedis, while deposits amounted to 18.2 billion. As of June 2025, deposits from 5.94 billion, and now we are at 18.2 billion.
President of the CEOs Group, Alhaji Awudu Ibrahim, stressed that rural and community banking is critical to the future of Ghana's economy. However, he warned that the BOG's 2021 directive on CEOs' tenure threatens stability in the sector.
We think that it is not in line with the Constitution of Ghana, which requires that laws that are being made, even an act of parliament, cannot be promulgated so as to have a retrospective implementation. If we fail to get them respond or revisit it, we have barely less than 6 months. We are heading to the courts.
For these rural bank CEOs who have today gathered here, if they push for the Bank of Ghana to actually amend its current directive on what they think is really disturbing them, the courts will be their last resort. For ChannelOne TV News, I'm Akwesi Jenim. Takoradi.
Let's now check how the local currency is performing on the interbank market. And that's all for Channel One Business. I am Netili Neti Ajahu. Back to you, Charles.
Well, thank you very much, Netili. Let's focus on some other stories now. And the Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, Elizabeth Ofosu-Adjare, has announced the government's plan to support operators of the Budget Depot warehouse in Adabraka, which was partly destroyed by fire on Thursday.
A fierce blaze ripped through sections of the Budget Decor warehouse in Adabraka, Accra, destroying large quantities of commercial goods including carpets, curtains, furniture, artificial flowers and other household items. Firefighters managed to bring the situation under control, but as of Friday, teams were still working to cool hotspots and clear heavy smoke from the site.
Sometimes after extinguishing fire, you definitely see the pockets of fire. So that's what we call it the cooling. Now the fire, there's no way the fire will be move from one particular unit to the other unit. So what we will do is that we will get rid of the roofing sheet covering the pocket of fire. When you get rid of it, then we cool it.
During an assessment visit, Trade Minister Elizabeth Ofosu-Adjare praised the swift response of the Ghana National Fire Service. She assured affected business operators that government will introduce relief measures to cushion their losses.
At the end of the investigation by Ghana Fire Service, we will be schooled enough to see what remedial measures we will put in place going forward. But I also empathize with the owners of the property. The best thing, is that no life was lost. At the end of the day, we all know that you can't bring anybody back, but as for money, you can always get money again. And so the fact that no life was lost is comforting enough. We all see what remedial measures or mitigation measures we put in place to also help those who have lost their property.
The minister further emphasized that the area, part of a designated free zones enclave, remains safe for business activities, adding that measures will be taken to prevent a recurrence.
It is obvious that the safety and security at this free zone enclave is good. Otherwise, a fire tender couldn't have entered here so easily. And so it shows that the safety and security of this place is very high. And then the alert was sent almost immediately. And the fire service responded timeously, as I indicated earlier. So I think that this is a very safe environment for business.
Meanwhile, the Ghana National Fire Service has recommended the complete demolition of the damaged structure. A final decision will be made once a technical assessment by its safety department is completed.
As a layperson, when you move around the building, you can see the cracks on it, the traces of the cracks on it. So there is no way this building will try to say that, let's do some touches. No, we have to bring everything down. But before we do that, the safety department, they will come and do their thorough investigation, move around the building and advise them. The building engineers will come in and see that, no, this building, there's no way good. But a layperson, when you move up the cracks, you have to move or demolish the entire building so that you put up a new building altogether.
As the smoke grows thicker, authorities have cordoned off the area as they work around the clock to ensure its cessation. Reporting for Channel One News, Fauzuma Saudu, Accra.
Now to some politics. NPP presidential candidate hopeful Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has rejected suggestions that a new patriotic party selects its leaders based on tribal affiliations, describing such claims as contrary to the party's long-standing tradition. Addressing party supporters at La Paz in Accra as part of his campaign tour of the Greater Accra region ahead of the party's January 31 presidential primaries, Dr. Bawumia maintained that tribal considerations have never determine leadership choices within the new patriotic party. There is more in the following report.
Dr. Bawumia recounted the party's history, referencing events from 1957 during Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's era, when the Avoidance of Discrimination Act led to the formation of the United Party. He noted that despite the Northern People's Party, led by S.D. Dombo, having the largest number of seats in Parliament at the time, Dr. K. Buzia, was chosen to lead the UP, a decision that, according to him, underscored the party's commitment to unity beyond ethnic lines. He does base on this to reject claims that the NPP will focus on tribal background of candidates in making a choice.
NPP, we don't vote on tribal lines. It is not part of our tradition. If you go back to even 1957, on Nkrumah Baye, he passed the Avoidance of Discrimination Act. And yebe formed UP, United Party, because we didn't need parties based on different regions. After that election, yebe formed UP, Northern People's Party was the largest party. Omobaye with SD Dombo with 13 seats to start with. Dr. Buzia with the Ghana Congress Party, Obaye with 1 seat. So, normally, Anka Dombo should have been the leader of the United Party. But Northern People's Party, Omotanaho, no Kasaye, Omosi, ye pese ye ji power no every Nkrumah ho. But Buzia is the one most likely to help us win the power.
Also speaking at the event, Chobo MP Gloria Wusu attributed the party's loss during the 2024 general election to the attitude of party members rather than the choice of candidates. She pointed to the strained relations with polling station executives during the campaign as a major factor behind the defeat.
Media mijidi se any parliament a merano enye candidate bi na ma ye lose 2024 election. Nemom yankasa ye suban ne ye ne ya ye dan na di kire polling station executive no na ma ye lose 2024 election.
Now, the majority in Parliament is pushing back against calls from the minority side for the dismissal of Communications Minister Sam George. At a press conference on Thursday, the minority demanded the minister's resignation or dismissal, citing what they describe as his poor handling of the DSTV pricing saga. But in a response on Friday, Suleiman Adama, a member of the Information and Communications Committee, urged the public to disregard the calls, highlighting the Communications Minister's leadership over the past 8 months in office.
There is nothing irregular about the minister's engagement with MultiChoice, and there is absolutely no justification for the call on the minister to resign. The minister has acted within his mandate and continues to provide the needed leadership to stabilize and guide the sector. The chairman of the committee has instructed the secretariat of the committee to invite MultiChoice and the ministry together to dialogue on the way forward. The call on Honorable Sam George to resign is unfounded. For the records, the whole president put his presidency online to fight Galamsey. He failed, but he did not resign. A minister of state said he was not thinking right in procuring vaccines. He did not resign. The former minister for communication signed opaque deals. Kenny GVG, Smart Infraco, Ascent Ghana, and the rest. He never resigned. Nobody called on him to resign. How do you call on a minister who has achieved such in just a little over 8 months to resign?
This is still the Channel One newsroom on Channel One TV. Still ahead. Despite recent setbacks, Mohamed Kudus tips current Black Stars to outdo 2010 team. We have details shortly. Please stay with us.
Good evening and welcome to the greatest show on earth. This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come. Let's go!
It's on Super Sports all season long. Pay your subscription today. Dial star 759 hash. Available on DSTV and GoTV.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, mommy.
I'm the second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again?
Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa. Why wouldn't he be late? Or be late?
Of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. Go be the luckiest. Go be from Georgia, be luckiest. From not the block, she be luckiest. Me and you go be luckiest. No matter what you're luckiest. Everybody go be that luckiest.
That's Kwame!
Send your God the apple boom. If you put it toy, so would the coming of the son of man be. Is that his car?
Everywhere.
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompt and let destiny handle the rest.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
Love the Premier League? Your DSTV premium subscription could get you there in real life, Charlie. Stay connected for your chance to watch the Premier League live. Man U versus Man City at Old Trafford or Arsenal versus Man U in London. Stay connected to score with DSTV Premium. This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform. Terms and conditions apply.
Thank you for staying with us. Up next on the Channel One Newsroom is sports with Bernard Abekuache. Abeku, good to see you.
Charles, good to see you.
What do you have for us?
Let's get into it, shall we now? The Black Stars midfielder Mohamed Kudus says he believes the current Ghana team can he believes the current the Black Stars squad. He believes Mohamed Kudus is saying that he believes the current Ghana squad can surpass the achievement of the 2010 team that reached the World Cup quarterfinals in South Africa. Ghana has endured a difficult spell in recent years, including the disappointment of failing to qualify for this year's African Cup of Nations in Morocco. Kudus remains confident the team will bounce back by reaching the next World Cup with ambition of taking the Black Stars a step further on the global stage.
Present your countries like a one-time thing, That's the one with the biggest emotion and feeling for me, Means a lot wearing that jersey, with a lot of pride, Obviously, AFCON is also one major tournament that the country love and wants to participate in. Not qualifying was a big disappointment, but I think the full focus now is on the World Cup qualifiers. We have to qualify that at all costs, and I think we are on the right path now. So, yeah, just keep going. 2010, we went all the way to quarterfinals. And I believe this squad can even do more than that, But first, we have to qualify, and then we can focus on the tournament itself. The belief in myself has always been there growing up from Nima, The external stuff, like scoring, performing well, how people talk and stuff, it helps. But internally, the belief for myself will always be there, irrespective of whatever happens. Represent your country is like a one-time thing,
Well, that's the very latest from the world of sports. Charles, over to you.
Grateful to you, Abeku. Well, that'll be all for this edition of the Channel One Newsroom on Channel One TV. Before we go, though, let's recap our headlines. Well, my name is Charles Osukumi. Thank you for watching.